We're back again to Module 4.2, where Module 4.2 CHE 451 Chemical Process Technology. We're going to look at agitation equipment. So I hope you're going to enjoy the class. We'll look at outline agitation equipment, a basic style tank mixer agitator, types of agitators or impellers, common agitators, and then some explanations and conclusions. Agitation equipment. Now, a set of agitation equipment may consist of a mixing tank, a driving motor with speed reducer, an agitator, and some other parts, as we are going to see. The dimensions of the liquid content in the vessel and the dimensions and arrangements of the impellers, all the parts and all that, and even the influence of amount of energy required and so on, are things we can calculate, things we can design. Of course, when we get to design of agitation equipment. And those things are the things that help us to achieve, a good quality of mixing. The internal arrangements depend on objectives of the operation, whether it is to maintain homogeneity of a reacting mixture or to keep a solid suspension or gas dispersion to enhance heat mass transfer. So whatever we want to achieve is what actually determines the kind of equipment we want to use. Is it just to mix and get a homogeneous solution? Is this for mass transfer? Is it for heat transfer? What kind of, process are we trying to achieve? That determines equipment to use or agitation equipment to use. But agitator is the main part, like an impeller in a pump to give mechanical energy to the liquid. And the basic classification is into two: radial flow impellers, that is the flow is induced in radial or tangential direction, and then axial flow impellers. This circulates liquid axially and currents are parallel to the axis of impeller shaft. We will still see, the different currents that can be generated by impellers or agitators. Of course, the role of baffles is to remove stratification. We will see the baffles. Baffles can be also designed and incorporated into the agitation equipment to remove stratification of the radial direction and then also improve mixing. Now, this is a basic third tank mixer agitator. All these things were mentioned. You can see the motor where we can have our regulator, speed regulator. You want it to move fast or slow down. We have our shaft and the baffle. All the equipment where you can drain it, the valve. Now, this is the major thing that, causes the mixing, the impeller. Once the impeller is talking, we'll see that we'll have different types of impeller. Once this impeller is turning, it will allow the liquid inside here to mix, and the baffles will create, a kind of temporary stoppage to the movement, the circulation of these, and then improve the mixing quality. Types of agitators, like we mentioned, there are three different types depending on the flow pattern. And what you have is propellers, paddles, and turbines. And we have tried to show small, medium, large, and their dimensions, and at what point all these types can be used. Now, these are common agitators, as you can see, 3-blade marine propeller. If you look at all these agitators, you see that, different shapes, different jobs they can do, because all the liquids are not the same. Remember, viscosity plays a very big role. So if you use an agitator or impeller that is not strong and you want to use it to mix very high, we shall also see in terms of pastes and slurries, you want to use it to mix very high viscous liquid, you might end up spoiling that agitator. So we try to list so many different types of, common agitators that are in use. They are still listed, a lot of them, different curve blade turbine, anchor paddle, gate paddle, and all these, depending on type of liquid or type of material we want to mix, that determines what type of agitator we can use. Now we'll try to explain all these things I've said. You look at it with the kind of number of tools, how the edges are, what are they used for. For example, plate impellers with sawtooth edges are suitable for emulsification and dispersion. Since the sharing action is localized, backfolds are not required. So you see, we'll try to list all these things. One after the other, you see the type of paddle or the type of impeller or type of turbine that can be used for any particular process. Agitation equipment looked at a very basic stir tank agitator, types of agitators and common agitators that we have. I hope it makes it clearer from what we discussed in class. Thank you very much and see you in the next class.